and we didn't.
That's right. And in fact,
Shalom, family. Come on in.
I think they're credible. Some were in these Arab countries were sent over to Israel.
Yeah.
And they actually left our own bases and people vulnerable. A year or two ago, I would have said no way. But after seeing that Huckabee interview, by the way, bravo. After seeing that Huckabee interview, I can't imagine how we didn't do that. I mean, it is very clear the United States is being led around the nose right now by what should be its proxy. I mean, let's get it real. I mean, it should be, so...
They're the housekeeper. We're the homeowner. Like, what is this? I don't get it. No, I'm serious. I don't understand.
I agree. So I do believe, yeah, we probably did. And the worst part here, one of the worst parts is I have a colleague who's in the Gulf states, and he tells me, he sent me a picture of the warning he got from the State Department to get out. And to cut to the chase, it basically said, you're on your own to get out. Like, we're not doing flights.
That's true.
And meanwhile, I hear that until 24 hours ago, the British government was evacuating their people, no questions asked. So you mean to tell me that the sole superpower is picking a fight with this missile city that is Iran, and we're not even going to provide exfiltration for our people? That's not an empire. That's not a superpower. That's a power in decline. That's what the Chinese see, by the way. And the Chinese think their time is at hand because we are committing national suicide with this insanity.
I wish I could disagree. It's one of the saddest things I've
I wish I didn't have to say these things.
I totally agree. And you think of the men whose lives are going to be taken, Americans who are like the best. Agree. And you think of the men whose lives are going to be taken, Americans who are like the best people.
Already have been.
And you look.
These are our people. Right?
No private equity.
These are our people. Right?
No private equity kids in that group.
That's right. That's right. And I just wanted to say something,
yes.
and I probably shouldn't, but I was for understand, but I was mortified by his press conference this morning. The glibness. 6 Americans are dead because of a political decision that was made. Obviously, I don't expect him to challenge the president on this publicly, but at the very least, it's a solemn day, and we should probably not be acting like this is just another walk in the park, because this is not. This is not going to plan. Now, hopefully we can pull it out of the fire, whatever that looks like. But right now, this is not going the way we were told it was going to go. It's certainly not the way
The question, I think, is do we commit ground troops? Americans on the ground.
They already are on the ground. Okay, so explain what you know, if you don't mind.
So it's just, again, I don't have any, but just for the record, because I know I have no access to classified information.
Right.
I am an open source guy, but I can read a freaking room. And I can tell you right now, if the president went into this area,
don't hear anything until
over in 3, he's talking about now opening up a front in Iraq.
Finished
Writing
Turkey.
that, I know all about that.
It's the truest, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's that. And then there's the fact that the president wants to be seen as quote unquote winning, and winning means he's already outlined what the objectives are. And this was also a big bugaboo of mine. War and strategy is about objectives, attainable political objectives. Clausewitz, war is an extension of politics through other means. Trump came out on Saturday. He's repeated it since. The aims are regime change. The aims are denuclearization, and the aims are getting rid of the ballistic missile system. He's now added on getting rid of the Navy of Iran. So those 4 objectives. What is the objective of the Iranian regime? Survive. That's all they have to do. Survive long enough because they know, because the Chinese...
Cannibalism is not illegal in the United States with the exception of one state. What? The only state in the United States where cannibalism is illegal is the state of Idaho. Are you kidding me? No. I am not leaving my house. Not illegal in the United States with the exception of one state. What? The only state in the United States where cannibalism is illegal is the state of Idaho. Are you kidding me? No. I am not leaving my house today.
White people have always indulged in cannibalism. They ate their slaves, and they ate black people that were free after the Emancipation Proclamation, after lynching.
One of the things
Can you hear? Can you hear? Y'all
I
hear?
have to say disappointing.
What's on the screen?
Disappointing is not the right word.
I don't hear nothing.
I don't hear anything. That's what I
But
said.
for me, it was one black.
Can you hear now? Can you hear now?
Do you know anything about history?
Okay.
They
All
still
right.
eat niggas. They ate niggas up until the civil rights movement. Like, they eat black people during slavery. White people, it was very common to eat your slaves. It's cannibalism, pedophilia. Like, it's great that we're having these conversations now. These are normal in white people. It's normal. You think a population that got wiped, like 40% of white people around the world got wiped out because they wouldn't take fucking showers. The Black Plague is called one of the deadly. Africans were never affected because every day we wake up, we go wash our asses. So for black people to be shocked that the Epstein Files is talking about eating children, and I'm like, do you know your history? Do you?
All right. My apologies if you all couldn't hear that. Let me let's see. You can hear me good though, right?
The ground, and that's when it went out.
Okay. All right. Issues with that. But anyway, let's get it in, fam. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. Is Dub here? Is Dub on?
I don't believe so, baby.
Okay. Okay. All right, good. Let me do just that. Okay. You on, babe. You are on, babe. All right. So ultimately, you know, I try to make sure that I keep your eyes open to prophecies being revealed. We understand that the U.S. and Israel going into Iran is the face of the third woe. It is the face of the battle between actually good and evil is a more simpler way to explain it. But it is the final America, Israel, the scarlet colored beast. We know that Edom in the Hebrew language means red. And so when we understand that the beast with 7 heads and 10 crowns, those are the 10 common market nations, or what is known as the Western nations, or what is also known as the United Kingdoms of the Earth, okay, known as the EU, or the European Union, okay, so that you can understand. It is the descendants of Esau's sons. They are the dukes of the earth. As we know that Esau was born first. Esau was the fraternal twin son of Jacob, the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. As a matter of fact, we're going to go to Genesis 25, and we'll get started there. The main point I want you to understand is that time is up for America, period. Okay? This kingdom's time in the earth is coming to an end. Okay? And all the things that are going on in the earth right now is going on because of the Israelites. Need you to understand that. Need you to understand that. Okay? This is Genesis chapter 25. And I'll start at verse 21. This is the birth of the progenitor. This is the birth of Esau, of so-called whites in the West, as well as those that are in France, in Spain, in Germany, in Great Britain, so on and so forth. Okay. So we'll start in Genesis chapter 25 and verse 21. No, I'll start at verse 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian, of Padan, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when the days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Now, I want you to notice some very critical characteristics. You have to understand that the scriptures are written in parables, right? And the scriptures are written for the elect of Israel, for those that receive the spirit of the truth, those that scoff at this word, those that running around in 2026 professing themselves to be Christians, while they see that Christianity is the greatest and highest level of witchcraft and Satanism that the earth has ever known. But you still have people that are brown complexion that are still professing to be Christians in 2026. When there are no Christians that can be found in the Bible anywhere. The God of the Bible never called his people Christian, okay? But this religion has always been used to replace the God of the Bible and to cause the Israelites to go into destruction, to be fleeced, to be enslaved, to be oppressed, to be destroyed. Okay? And so we're reading about the progenitor of that nation. Okay? That nation called Edom, that would become the 4th and final beast of the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter, as well as the book of Revelations, the 17th chapter. Okay? And so I want to read it again. 23rd verse. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. And please understand that the Lord is speaking to Rebekah because Rebekah wanted to know, why is Jacob and Esau, or why are the twins that you opened up my womb? She was barren initially. So if you made me pregnant, if you opened up my womb so that I can conceive, we understand that conception is sperm and egg meeting, okay? So you people that are smeared with Christianity to where you believe that the 61 fathers of Christ listed in the scriptures from the 6th day of creation all the way to Matthew, the 1st chapter and the 16th verse, all the way to Joseph, his father. If you think that you can take Joseph out of those 61 fathers of Christ, you are mentally disturbed and you are grossly unlearned. And until you receive the spirit of the truth, you will continue to be unlearned, which is what Christ was telling the Pharisees when he said, who can save you from the damnation of hell? He called them foxes and serpents. Why? Because they rejected the spirit of the truth. They knew good and well who Christ was, but they pretended not to know so that they could keep their authority and their position over the Israelites, even under Roman rule. Why? Because the highest paying profession for a black person in the history of America has been kissing white people's behind. If you don't understand that, then maybe you are partaking in such. 24th verse, read it again. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. Esau means wasted away is he, meaning his heritage is wasted away, as well as the melanin that is in his flesh is wasted away, meaning he has none. You can see his blood through his flesh, okay? And the blood through the flesh appears to be red, okay? And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, and Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Now, this is very key. This is a great place to be able to connect precepts, because to get the understanding, the scripture says precept must be upon precept. And we often use the analogy that the Bible is the record of the Israelites in puzzle form. The parables are the puzzle pieces, okay? We call it a 1,000,000-piece puzzle because it seems like it's just endless of understanding and learning the truth of these scriptures, right? Which is only given to those that receive the spirit of the truth, those that receive the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the law, so that you can understand. Okay, and so I want to connect this precept to a precept in 2nd Esdras, which the Edomites took out of the original 1611 King James Bible. It is from the apocryphal books. Esdras is the prophet Ezra in your standard KJV with the apocrypha removed. Why did they take it out? Martin Luther, Edomite, the leader of the Protestant Reformation, took the apocrypha out because it identified the nationality of the Israelites too clearly, and it identified the destruction and the judgment of the fourth and final beast too clearly. Okay? So this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6, and I want to start at verse 7. I'll start at verse 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, this is Ezra talking to the Most High, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? And when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Meaning that when, can you tell me what is times period of the quote unquote world? When will this time period be up? When will this kingdom be done? And when will the beginning of Jacob's, of the Israelites, of the promised seed line, when will that kingdom, when is the beginning of that kingdom? That's what Ezra is asking the Most High. A verse. And he said unto me, from Adam unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So that is reminiscent of Genesis, the 25th chapter, what I just read. Start at the 23rd verse. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. So what does that tell you? That tells you if it's 2 nations in thy womb, then that means that they're not the same nation, right? They're coming out of the same womb, but the Most High said that he was going to separate those 2 nations from the womb. And you know, many people will say all the time, well, Gentile means nations. It means nations in certain contexts. Because if Gentiles always meant nations, okay, then surely when I replace nations with Gentiles in verse 23, then it should make sense when I read it, right? 23rd verse. And the Lord said unto her, 2 Gentiles. Let me do that again, just in case you missed it. And the Lord said unto her, 2 Gentiles are in thy womb. Gentiles does not always mean nations. Gentiles, you can have Gentiles that mean heathen nations. Yes, you can. But you also have where the term Gentile is used for Israelite Gentiles, those that forsook the holy covenant, joined unto the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised and were sold to do mischief. Let's read it again. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner, meaning 2 types of people, shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Does everybody get what's being said here? This is crystal clear. This is crystal clear, 24th verse. Ed and Harry, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out. Now, why didn't they describe how Jacob looked when he came out of his mother's womb? The simple answer is that Jacob looked like everyone else that had come out of their mother's womb during that time. And his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Okay? So now we're gonna pay attention to all of these examples and characteristics of Esau to determine who is Esau in the earth today. Don't take my word for it. We're going to go to Google, because it's totally Googleable if you know what you're doing. But guess what? As a Christian, you're not even looking for who Esau is because you have no idea who your enemy is whatsoever. Everything that happens against you is the devil, but you have no idea who the devil is. Okay? All right. So now let's look at the first characteristic is that he is red all over. Okay. Okay. Edom was an ancient kingdom southeast of the Dead Sea, founded by Esau, Jacob's twin brother, whose descendants, the Edomites, were frequent hostile adversaries of Israel, meaning red, referring to Esau's complexion and the red rocky landscape. Edom symbolized human pride and was prophesied by Obadiah to face total destruction from assisting in Jerusalem's destruction, or assisting in the destruction of Jerusalem as well as the destruction of the Israelites. Okay. And they brought up the book of Obadiah. So let's look at the book of Obadiah and see what the book of Obadiah says about Esau and Edom. Okay. Obadiah is what they call one of the minor prophets. Okay. Meaning that it's only one chapter, but Obadiah's complete focus is about the destruction of Edom. Let me see if I can find a Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary definition of Edom.
Wasted away is he.
Wasted away is he. Let's get, okay. See if you all can see that. Can you all see that on the screen? The last highlighted portion. We'll see, I'll read it. Okay. This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary definition of Edom. And this is an Edomite publication. Please understand that. Okay. So it's no bias. This is peer reviewed. This is their information. Okay. Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as the scene of great future judgments. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from God. Wait, let me read that again. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy from God. I hope you can understand that. Okay. So now this is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made them small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. See if we can write this. Write these. Write these symbols down. Eagle. Dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Okay. Habitation is high. Okay. Pride, full of pride. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Deceived into thinking that you're mighty and you rule the entire world and you could just do whatever you want to for however long you want to do it. Whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars. Okay, because we have a organization called NASA, right? And that organization says that in the 1960s that they made it to the moon, and said that Neil Armstrong put a flag on the moon. Does anybody remember what Neil Armstrong declared when he put, well, it wasn't the moon, it was a Hollywood studio, but it says, the pride of thy heart have deceived thee. What he say, cuz?
The eagle has landed.
The eagle has landed. Okay. All right. The eagle has landed. Has landed where? Remember, we said, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thus will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Now, I want to also attach this precept to another precept in Isaiah, the 14th chapter. As a matter of fact, let's see. Yeah. Isaiah, the 14th chapter. And I want to start at verse 1. Okay? This is Isaiah chapter 14 and starting at verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place. Let me say that again. And the people, meaning the Israelites, shall take them, meaning the heathen, the strangers, okay? Not the Israelites, strangers, not the Israelite Gentiles, okay? But the heathen Gentiles, and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Does everybody understand that? And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow. You see the promised seed line that's in the earth now? We are in poverty, sorrow, in pains, and in torments. Why? Because we are under the oppression of white Christianity, evangelical Christianity. Evangelical Christianity is the highest form of white supremacy the earth has ever known. Okay? So you can understand. What does evangelical Christianity teach? So let's look at the evangelical, since okay. Evangelical Jesus. So everybody can understand. Okay. This is the Jesus that the evangelical Christians preach every single Sunday somewhere in America. This is the evangelical Jesus. Okay? Okay. This is the Jesus of the Christians globally. Okay? So you can understand. All right? All right. How do we know that? How do we know that this is a fact?
Because the Bible says so.
Okay. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Does everybody understand that evangelical Christianity was born from the plantations in the South?
Yes, sir.
It was the plantation owners that taught evangelical Christianity. Does everybody understand that? You see, if you can look at the Jesus of the Klan, the Jesus of the Klan looks just like the Jesus of the evangelical Christians. Okay. 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 And the evangelical Christians, as we know, the evangelical Christians teach. Well, let me ask, because I think this is common knowledge, but I just want to make sure. Okay. Okay. Who do the evangelical Christians teach are the Israelites of the Bible, or are God's chosen people? Who does the evangelical Christians teach is God's chosen people?
The Edomite.
Do they teach them as Edomites, or who do they say that they are?
Well, they teach. The Edomites say that they are God's people.
Let's see.
Christianity.
Let's see. Okay. Okay. Okay, this reads, evangelical Christians are among the strongest supporters of Israel, driven by a theology called Christian Zionism, which views the modern state of Israel as the fulfillment of biblical prophecy. They believe supporting Israel is a spiritual duty, often tying this support to end-time scenarios such as the second coming of Christ. Did anyone hear what I just read? So So when you see all these wars and rumors of wars, understand that it is about you. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if the Messiah himself focused on these things. And Jesus said unto them, seeing ye not all these things, verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the mountain of Olives, upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Wait a minute. Isn't that the same thing that Ezra was just asking the Most High? Isn't that the same exact thing that he was just asking?
Yes.
Okay. And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Christian. Wait a minute. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Christian, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, and pestilence, and earthquake, and diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. I hope you got that. I hope you got that. Because Christ brought down many particular key elements that can be found in the mouth of the prophet Obadiah and in the mouth of the prophet Isaiah. Pay attention. All right, back to Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in thine heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Timon, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau, mount meaning congregation, of Esau shall be cut off by slaughter for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Shame shall cover thee, and though thou shalt exalt thyself, and thou shalt be cut off forever. I'm gonna say that again. Okay, let me go back to. I want to go back to the 7th verse. All of the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him, meaning that he doesn't even understand what's happening. He doesn't understand that his kingdom is collapsing. Why? Because he's so proud and he thinks that he has so much power. Now, when it speaks of the confederacy, what is it talking about? Okay. Some of you may remember when we went into Psalms chapter 83. Because he's talking about that confederacy, okay? Which was led by evangelical Christians. Okay? Please understand that. The greatest traitors to the American system in the history of America, okay, came from evangelical Christians. Also, the January 6th insurrection was also done by evangelical Christians. Okay? Psalms 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silent, O God. Hold not thy peace. Be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies, the enemies of the Most High. This is King David writing to you, writing to the Israelites. This is family business. So don't ever expect business only. You can't even get this understanding telling the people, sow a seed, get a blessing. Teaching that the laws are done away with. You can't even get this understanding. Why? Let's go in the scripture. It'll tell you. Let's look at Psalms chapter 111. Okay. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever. So if you say as a Christian, you understand the Bible, you are a liar. Because you don't have a good understanding of the Bible. If you did, you would never call yourself a Christian, period. Because Christian just means that you don't love God enough to study his word. Psalms 111 and verse 10, read it again. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Why would you fear the God of the Christians? What is it about the God of the Christians that is worthy of fear? Because you can do whatever you want, you can eat whatever you want, you can dress however you want, you can come and go as you please, you can be a homosexual sodomite, you can be whatever you want to be according to the evangelical Christian. You can even be in the Trumpstein Files and still get the support from the evangelical Christians. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Psalms 83 and verse 1. Keep not silent, O God. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. There that pride is again. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, what? The promised seed line, the Israelites, and consulted against thy hidden ones. Think not that I've come to destroy the law and the prophets. I've come not to destroy, but to fulfill. So Christ told you not only not to be a Christian, but don't even think about it. Okay? He said, I am not sent but unto the what? Lost sheep of the house of Israel. What do you think thy hidden ones means? 4th verse. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. What did you think the purpose of evangelical Christianity was? What did you think the purpose was? They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are what? Confederate against thee. Who is confederate against the Most High? Who is the enemy of the Most High God? They know they don't want that. Your arm's too short to box with God. So guess what the next best thing is, or the only thing that Edom can even touch at all? It's you. Okay. That is the purpose of Christianity. That is the point of Christianity. Do you understand that? That is why evangelical Christianity was created. And who was it created by? The tabernacles of Edom. Does everybody see that? When the Lord lists you first as an enemy of him, when King David lists the Edomites as the first enemy of the Lord, and look at the second enemy, the Ishmaelites. Who are the Ishmaelites? The descendants of Ishmael, your modern day Arabs. Can you hear me now? Do you understand that everything in the earth is happening because of you? Moab, Chinese. The Hagarenes, Africans. Gabal, Africans. Ammon, Japanese. Amalek, Edom. Amalek is a descendant of Esau and descendants of Duke Amalek. The descendants of Duke Amalek are your Macedonians. Alexander the Greek was the son of Philip, king of Macedonia. So your original Greeks, the ones you fraternities and sororities you running around here duplicating, they are not the original Greeks, dum-dum. They are Greek converts. They took the Hellenistic culture. Instead of taking Macedonian culture, they spread Hellenism all over the earth. That's why you're called the Pan-Hellenic Council. I mean, you all screwed up. You thinking you African Greeks. I mean, do you understand how delusional and how caught in witchcraft you are? Why? Because the black Christian pastor was the first down low brother. He was the first greatly compromised. Why? For position, for authority over you. Let's keep going. Okay. And so now I want to go back to the book of Obadiah. Or actually, I want to go back to Obadiah. 7 verse again. This is book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Meaning that for all of these years, you have to understand that all of these Arab nations have been working together with Israel and the United States. You understand that? That's why oil flowing so freely and commerce and all of that, because it's all about money. But what Iran realizes that, wait a minute, so we're trying to negotiate, we're trying to keep from going to war, and while we're in negotiations, the U.S., because of a pretext that Israel said that they were going to be bombing, this is according to the Americans. This is according to Marco Rubio. Okay? He said that America attacked because they knew that Iran would retaliate once they were attacked by Israel first. And so we didn't just want to just sit and wait for them to respond, because we knew that if Israel attacked them, when Israel attacked them, that they were going to respond and attack us. And what did Iran do? They defended themselves by attacking those Arab nations in Qatar, in UAE, in Saudi Arabia, that had those American bases that allowed trillions of dollars of infrastructure to flow into these Arab nations that were bunkers around Iran in order to set up this assault and this attack on Iran, because Iran is the last Arab nation without a central bank and the last domino to fall before Israel has total control over what they call the Middle East, which does not exist, which used to be a part of the African tectonic plate until the Edomites put in the Suez Canal and cut off that portion that was previously known as Canaan, and previously given to the youngest son of Ham, named Canaan, okay, which is why Abram's name was changed from Abram to Abraham, because the Lord eventually gave that land to the 12 tribes of Israel in the United Kingdom, all the way from Syria down to Egypt. So you can understand. Okay? Now, this is the 5th verse. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? Meaning that you so greedy. Edom is so, listen, they own everything. Anything in America, anything of substance. They own hip hop. They own the media. They own the football teams, the basketball teams. They own the corporations. They own all the tech firms. They own everything. The Lord is saying, wouldn't the grape gatherers at least leave some grapes? When you leave something, no, they want everything. Let's read on. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And that mighty man, O Timon, mighty man, O Timon, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, the day that the strangers carried away captives his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. But thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off from those his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. I'm going to read that again because, this you'll never hear in the Christian church. You will never hear this verse, this chapter, this prophet read in the Christian church. For the day of the Lord is upon what? All the heathen. And you might ask, Christians, if you say they are the Israelites, if you say they the chosen people, reading about the judgment of the Edomites, when the Edomites are the number one enemy of the Most High God and the number one enemy of the Israelites, why am I just for the first time, why am I just hearing this now? And I've been a Christian 20, 30, 40 years. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou have done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunken upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. So you won't even have fossils in a museum. You will be as though thou hast not been, like you never existed, like you was never born, period. There will be no memorials for you. Your Confederate statues will cease to exist. Your pictures up in the White House will cease to exist. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness. Well, I mean, you just ridiculous. When I think of Christianity, it is the most anti-holiness, anti-Christ religion in the history of mankind. But since people who couldn't clap on beat or seasoned chicken convinced the most persuasive men among you, the ones that the Lord calls wicked men, to persuade you to make a covenant with the heathen. That covenant is Christianity. And because of that, you have rejected the only power the Most High God gave to the Israelites. The only power you were given. You weren't given the power of guns. You weren't given the power of battle, of bloodshed. You weren't given that power. The only power you was given is the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. The only God in the earth. And I hope you know that holiness means separate. For all you that want to be connected to your Christian brothers in the kingdom of heaven. When these people have been plotting for your destruction since time immemorial. Surely you grew up in a neighborhood And all the black businesses, they had Arabs in the BP, they had Esau in the Wendy's and the McDonald's and the Burger Kings, and they had the Chinese in the liquor stores and the convenience stores and the East Indians in the convenience store. Don't you see? Don't you see? Were you ever in homeroom with Ming-Hua? Were you ever in homeroom with any of these Arab children? Did they go to your school? Huh? So why would they be able to own the businesses in your neighborhood and take all the money out your neighborhood? Because they agreed to take that money back to the Edomites. Okay? The same reason for why the black Christian church can take in a total of $800 billion in 10 years, because they agreed to return it back to the Edomites. The black church is the fastest way for black dollars to return to white hands. Please understand that. Let's see if we can, one of my articles you took off of here. One of the articles was taken off of here, but okay. Black churches have collected $800 billion in 10 years. So the one that's not taken off, they put it as a question mark. You have to understand that all liars do is lie. And they do everything they can to smear and cover and deceive you from believing and understanding and hearing the spirit of the truth. You understand? And what is that truth? The greatest mystery ever known. So-called blacks, American blacks, West Indian blacks, Haitians, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, West Indians, Native American Indians, Venezuelans, Panama, Uruguay, make up the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Hope you can understand that. That's why this whole world is on fire right now. Okay? And always has been. Because of what? Because of you. All right. Let's keep going. Okay. Okay. Let's continue. This is back at Genesis chapter 25 and verse 24. And when her days were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. Keep that in your mind. Cunning hunter. Okay. Cunning hunter, a man of the field. Okay. And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Wait a minute. What is venison? Does anybody know what venison is?
Meat, raw meat?
No, what is venison? What is venison? The meat venison.
It is deer.
It is deer. Okay, so that means that Esau, I hear Doug. Doug, can you read, brother?
I'm in the back, brother.
Okay, no worries.
I I can read a few bars for you.
Okay, all right. Just let me know. Just let me know, because you know I go on and on and on and on.
No, I got you six.
All right. So I want everybody to notice we got these characteristics. Hopefully you don't have them listed. Let me give you the list again. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. That's what Obadiah told us. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, yet shalt thou be brought down to the ground. Okay? When he said, though thou set thy nest among the stars, okay? And Cuz told us that as soon as the U.S. supposedly landed on the moon, what's the first thing they said, Cuz?
The eagle has landed.
That's right. The eagle has landed. Okay? Esau is a cunning hunter, a man of the field. What does he hunt according to the scriptures? According to verse 28.
Deer.
He's a deer hunter. So now let's look up the definition of the word cunning. And see if we can use Google to piece this thing up. Read that definition, dog.
Piece it up, baby. Having or showing skill in achieving one's ends by deceit or evasion.
Wait a minute, read it again.
Cunning, having or showing skill in achieving one's ends by deceit or evasion.
Look down, not at the second definition, but go down to the next one.
It's a skill in achieving one's ends by deceit. To whom cunning had come as a second nature. Ooh.
Wait a minute. Okay, so now read the second definition and then read the quote. And I want to bring something to your attention. Okay, I want you to read it first, then I want to bring something to your attention. Let me see if y'all gonna catch it first. Read it.
Second definition, it says North American English. That's what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Attractive or quaint.
Mm-hmm.
The baby will look cunning in that pink print.
Okay, does everyone... Does everyone know that pink is a derivative of red?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you see a swine or an unclean animal, animals that are unclean for us to eat, when you see a swine and they depict a swine, what color do they make it?
Pink.
Okay, and when the demons was cast out, when Christ cast out the demons, where did he send the demons to?
Pigs.
He sent them to the swine that went and jumped off a cliff and drowned in the sea, right? Okay, I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that for a minute. Okay, so now let's keep going. I want to go back to, all right. Okay. All right. Okay. Read that 29th verse. This is Genesis chapter 25. Start at verse 29, though.
Right, Genesis 25 and 29.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
Okay, so now I want to make sure that I get you the Googleable definition of a cunning deer hunter. Let's see if we can find some images of the cunning deer hunters. Does everybody see the definition? Does everybody see what Google says Not what I say. Okay. What Google says is a cunning deer hunter.
Wow. Now, I know a bunch of brothers that hunt deers, but.
But do you see any of them? I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying.
Esau.
Okay.
I had a guy in Georgia to get me some deer every now and then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right now. All right. Okay. So there's another characteristic that Google says is Esau. Now, just like you have black Christians, you have black deer hunters. Okay. But anyway, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. And keep in mind that the deer is a clean meat. Okay, so it's clean for the Israelites to eat. And Isaac loved deer meat. Okay, so it's nothing, it's just showing you the characteristics of what Google says a cunning deer hunter is.
It's Googleable.
It's Googleable. And you can go right back and put the same thing in there and find the same exact thing. Okay, now, let's keep going.
And let's keep
let's keep going. All right. So now, read 29 again.
Okay, 29. Says, and Jacob sod pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint.
Okay, so sod pottage meaning cooking pottage. All right? And as you know, when you're cooking meat in like a stew, it takes a while. As a matter of fact, your best results are going to come out when you slow cook it, right? When you go in and cook it over 4 or 5 hours, right? So when Esau came, I want you to notice that Esau realized and knew what Jacob was cooking. He knew that he was cooking lentil and meat. I need y'all to understand what's going on. He was cooking meat and lentils. Venison. Okay? And I want y'all to notice when Esau says what he says, when he asks for the pottage, he's going to say that same red pottage. That is a parable to me. He wants it now, before it's done. Because that's another characteristic of Esau, and I'll prove it. Read, dog.
Yes, indeed. Says 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
And keep in mind that Jacob is doing the cooking because, white people can't cook. But anyway, go ahead. Read it again.
All right, verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom.
He said he was faint, so that means he been out in the field all day, right? And so if he faint and he coming back tired, then that means that he redder than a red beet. He is redder than red. Okay? From the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. And so much so that they called his name what? Edom. Edom means red. You understand that? So understand, when you see the name, and please understand that that Edom means red, and Edom means wrath. Okay? Yeah, let's see. Let's see.
I know that.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Revelation 17. I started verse 1, dog.
Revelation 17 and 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Does everybody know what color scarlet is?
Red.
Okay. Read it again, dog. Fourth verse.
Third verse.
Okay.
So he carried me away in the spirit of the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
The mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth. Edom, read.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
Who are the saints? The Israelites. Drunken with the blood of the saints. The Israelites. Read on.
And with the blood of the matriarchs of Jesus.
Martyrs.
Martyrs of Jesus.
Which means the prophets. Read on.
And when I saw her, I wandered her with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel?
Okay, I want to make sure that you understand too. When it says, and the blood of the martyrs of Christ, that's also talking about Israelites. Because it was the black Christian pastors, the Pharisee spirit, the murmuring Israelites that was in the wilderness. They have all the ones the wicked men that forsook the holy covenant, the wicked men that persuaded many to go and make a covenant unto the heathen during the time of the Maccabees. We have always had black celebrities and hip hop stars and movie stars and politicians and doctors and lawyers and Greeks and Freemasons and all. We have always had that. Buck dancing, sellout Negroes. Always. How you think Nat Turner got turned in? How you think Denmark Vesey got turned in? The same way every time. Why? Because the highest paid profession in America for a black man is kissing a white man's behind. That's why the memorial for Jesse Jackson lasted about 22 minutes. Because you did nothing for your people but usher them into destruction. Talking about a damn African American. Do you understand how mentally disturbed you got to be to think that you are an African American? That's 2 continents. Are Africans that come to America today African Americans? You see what I mean? If you'll believe that a Caucasian that look like he smoke weed and work at Waffle House is the Most High, the Son of the Most High, the Holy Spirit, every Israelite, every prophet, every king, you'll believe anything. Okay. So now, Where'd you stop off? Oh, read verse 7 again, dog.
Oh man. Boy, oh my goodness. The Africans come over here, they don't call themselves African American. All right. At 6, I think we stopped at 6. It says, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. When I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which had the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world.
Wait a minute. Now I want y'all to put a little note right there, because that's very, very key. He said, who were the names not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world? What is he explaining? He is explaining the beast with 7 heads and 10 crowns. He said that it was and was not and now is. All that's doing is telling you about, see, these are the parables you'll never get in the black Christian church, because they too busy passing around the vessel and singing and jumping up and down and wearing a hole in your pantyhose, frothing at the mouth, speaking in tongues. It's madness. It's madness. And when you look at the destruction of our people, you can't help but to look at the black Christian church. It is the #1 culprit. It's the first one. Do you think they could have gave us white Jesus without the black church? Do you think that? Do you think that they could have caused us to forget or reject the Most High's laws without the black church in America? Really? Do you know that the 2 to 3 million brothers that's locked up today, 9 times out of 10, the brother that's locked up was turned in by another brother that did the same crime as him, but turned him.
I'm gonna still be listening though.
Okay, no words. Okay. And this is the 8th verse. And the beast that thou sawest was and is not, meaning that the first. You had Alexander the Greek, son of Philip of Macedonia, all right? He was the first Edomite to rule in Greece, okay? He conquered the sons of Noah's son, Japheth, Javan, and Kittim, okay? You go to Genesis, the 10th chapter, all right? But you got to understand what's going on first before you even understand the breakdown at all, okay? All right. It went from Alexander. Alexander reigned 12 years, then he died. But before he died, he put up the men that he grew up with, the other Macedonian men. And they put crowns on the heads of their sons after them. And the scripture says, and evils multiplied in the earth because they were getting their numbers up. You understand? They eventually, those new converted Edomite Greeks, joined their Edomite brothers who were Edomite converts in Rome, and they made the Greco-Roman Empire. That Greco-Roman Empire eventually became the Roman Empire, and it fell in 192 AD by an Israelite gladiator by the name of Septimius Severus, who got the slaves, and that's the first Israelite slave revolt on record. And they toppled Rome. And the Israelites ruled over Europe for over 1,100 years. And you may know of the story of the Spanish Inquisition, Okay, that was righteous Israelites that did not forsake the Holy Covenant and that was loyal to the covenant and the laws, versus the wicked Israelites who became what was known as the Moors, who started teaching that they came from Morocco in Africa and they took on the God that was of the former Ottoman Empire. Because the Ottoman Empire used to have 360 gods. And they went under one God, which was nothing but an illiterate Muhammad, an illiterate camel jockey with a 9-year-old wife, okay, who only thing he did was to duplicate the Bible. And the base of religion off of a religion for Muslims or Arabs, because the Arabs don't have a God. The descendants of Ishmael don't have a God. Okay? So they made it up and made Muhammad a prophet. Well, guess what? All of the prophets was Israelites. So how the hell is Muhammad a prophet? And why does the Quran call the Bible the book of remembrance? And what prophecies are in the damn Quran? How did the Most High make the earth and all the nations that are in the earth? Where's the account at? Where are the prophecies of the end times or what's going on right now in the damn Quran? They're not there. You sound like a damn fool. 9th verse. And here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads and the 7 mountains of which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. When he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was is not, even he is the 8th, and is the 7th that goeth into perdition. Okay? And so, that's it on that. So I want to take you back to Isaiah chapter 14. Take you back to Isaiah chapter 14, and we're going to look Isaiah chapter 14 and we'll start at verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. Now they're talking to the ruling nations. Okay, they're talking to this man called Lucifer. Okay, who was given his wisdom and his understanding in order to rule the earth from Satan, the beast itself. Okay, understand, the spiritual Satan had to have himself manifested in man. And so this 4th and final beast is the spirit of Lucifer, so that you can understand. Okay, all right. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. Okay, ascending into heaven meaning ruling the entire earth. That's why they'll never get enough, because lust is insatiable. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Meaning you sitting on the mounts of the congregation. Remember he said the mount of Edom. That's the congregation or the nation or the people, the Israelites, man. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Most of your Israelites or your understanding Israelites of the tribe of Judah, which is the tent that'll be raised up first, is in North America. That's your brothers that you see on the street bringing this truth out every single day. While these evangelical churches spread lies. Okay. 14th verse. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet shalt thou be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They shall see thee, and shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? Is this the man that made the earth to tremble? Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Is this the man? 17th verse, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of the prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thus thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden underfoot. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. Leave that as at that. All right. And so I'm going to go back to Genesis 25. Okay. So we got the characteristics. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high. So let's see these clefts of the rock. Let's look at let's take a look. Let's take a look at the dwelling place of Esau. Genesis 36 and verse 8. Thus dwelleth Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. Okay. Let's go to Google. Let's see what Google says, because it's Googleable. Okay. Let's see what Google says Mount Seir is. Okay. Let's take a look and see what Google says is Mount Seir. Okay. Okay. Let's say what Google says is Mount Seir. Okay. Okay. Does everybody see that? Now, does that architecture look familiar? Let's see if we can find some familiarities between that architecture and them columns and the Confederate States. Okay. Let's see if them columns look familiar. See if you can understand. See if these columns look in any way familiar to you. Okay? Okay. You see them columns? Just think maybe I made it up, huh? You don't see them columns. You don't see them columns. Maybe I just made it up. Let's see where else we can find them columns. Okay.
Well, Google the White House, you'll see them.
Okay. The White House. Okay. Let's see if we can see them on the front of the White House. You know, since everybody, since they're hiding, I guess, since can't nobody put two and two together, because the evangelical Christians don't teach nothing about Esau or the Israelites. How do they know to just stay away from that, though? You know what I mean? How they know that this not Mount Seir? Huh? How they know that? Wait a minute. Let's look at something. Let's see. You remember you said Edom, right? Okay, so this image right here. This image was taken out of, you see this structure right here? This, let's see. See if we can. Okay. This image was taken from what is known as Petra Roman Eagle in Petra Museum. Maybe I made it up. You know, you still got time. You feel me? Maybe I made it up. Okay. All right. It said Roman Eagle. Huh? It's in the Petra Museum. Okay. When we went to Mount Seir, let's see what Mount Seir is. Let's see what Mount Seir's location is. Let's see. All right. You see, it says Mount Seir is the ancient biblical name for the mountainous region stretching between the Dead Sea and the Gulf of Aqaba in the northwestern region of Edom, the southeast of the kingdom of Judah. It may also have marked the oldest historical limit of ancient Egypt in Canaan, a place called Seir in the land Shasu, where the Semitic-speaking pastoral nomads of the southern Levant from the late Bronze Age to the early Iron Age, or the third intermediate period of Egypt. They were tent dwellers. Remember, he said Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, organized in clans, ruled by a tribal chieftain, and were described as brigades active from the Jezreel. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and read that because that looked like that was good. Okay, Shashu thought to be near Petra, Jordan. Okay, is listed in the temple of Amenhotep III. Okay, that was in the Egyptian. They say that Amenhotep was actually Joseph, but you know that's in a place of great lies, deception run rampant. Okay, so anyway. Okay, so Petra, Jordan, this is the map here. Let's see, it's right here. And they've got the Valley of the Salt there. Let's see. All right, you see Jerusalem there, but it's kind of difficult. That map is kind of difficult to understand, but that's Jerusalem. That's where the southern and Jerusalem is this red dot here. The southern kingdom is this area here. Actually, I think Tel Aviv might be kind of in the northern kingdom, but I have to look at another map. But anyway, and Petra, Jordan is down at the southeast end. This is where Mount Seir is. It's a mountainous region in the caves of Mount Seir. That's how they knew how to mimic and mock your culture and what to keep you away from, because they knew if you kept the commandments, they could not reign over you. They knew that, okay? All right, so now it says that this is Petra, Roman Eagle in Petra Museum. Now, keep in mind that this was taken out of the caves of Mount Seir and stored in Rome. Anyway. Okay. All right. So let me give you, let's also, because we're still looking for those columns. Let's see. let's look at, okay. This is known as the Freeze of Titus. So in 70 AD, actually it started in 65 AD, when a Roman-led father and son army, there were father and son generals, Titus and Vespasian. And they came for the second siege of Jerusalem. Okay? This is actually the final siege of Jerusalem. This is the siege when it's being explained in Matthew, the 24th chapter, when Christ said, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, flee into that mountains is the mountains of West Africa. Okay? All right. Now, you'll notice when you see this is called the Frieze of Titus or the Ark of Titus. All right. And what's engraved here is the Romans coming in and stealing the precious items that were in the temple at Jerusalem, the temple of Solomon at Jerusalem. All right. They were following the same playbook as the Edomites after Alexander under the king Antiochus Epiphanes. All right. And so now I want to go there and I want to read to you blueprint that they used, because they don't create nothing on their own. Okay. And the blueprint that they used to create Christianity. Okay. So we're going to read that now. We're going over verses that you will never hear in the evangelical church, of which the black church is a bed wench. Okay? Just so that we clear. All right? All right. All right. So now this is 1 Maccabees chapter 1. And I want to start with reading the end of Alexander the Great, the first Edomite king to rule in Greece. I'm going to read that portion. I got to read. Every time I come here, I try to just get by with reading a few verses. But every person on the planet Earth has to read the book of Maccabees, the first chapter, and from the first verse all the way down, in order for you to understand why the evangelical Christians target the Israelites. It's namely because they don't have a God, okay? And they are ruled by Satan. They are the Lucifer of the earth, okay? 1 Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that, Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Kittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and the Medes, that he reigned in his stead the first over Greece, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Please understand that just meant in the east. Okay, the ends of the earth meant the east, because the Israelites had not gone over to the North America area or to the west. No man dwelled in that area yet until about 900 BC. Okay, during the time of Darius. Okay, during the time of Salmanazar. Okay, but that's another lesson. Okay, so verse 2 or verse 3, and went through to the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kingdoms and kings, who became tributaries unto them. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Now, Alexander the Great died of syphilis. Okay, syphilis is a venereal disease that you get from the animal brothels in Europe that are still there today. Part of the reason why Alexander chose Hellenism is because it is a phallic worshiping religion. And I won't cover phallic worshiping here, but it is a very, very vile, evil form of worship. Let me just say that, okay? That's why your statues are naked, and you've got all of these. Anyway, look at these old Catholic churches, and you'll see the ghouls and the gargoyles and what they're doing to themselves. Okay, all right. 6th verse. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable men and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years, and then he died, and his servants bare rule, every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils multiplied in the earth. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome, and reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Y'all pay attention to that. In the 11th verse, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men. Please understand, we're talking about the southern kingdom Israelite that had already been divided from the northern kingdom. The southern kingdom, there were 3 tribes in the southern kingdom: Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. The Levites were the priesthood. They had no inheritance, nor did they have any land allotment. Okay, so that you can understand. The tithes is used to take care of the Levites. The tithes were crops and flocks and land and wine and oil and herbs. Okay? It was not money. Okay? To show you another, and please understand something, the Black Christian Church is not innocent. Not the leadership. The members don't know. They are deceived. You know what I'm saying? That most of the time when I'm talking, I'm not talking about the members. Okay. I many Christians in my family. I grew up a Christian. Okay. So there's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. Right. So I'm not targeting it. This is not personal. This is how the beast set things up. Do you want to know how the beast set it up, or do you want to continue in your folly? You can do either. Okay, it is your choice, right? 11th verse. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. The number one job of the Black Christian pastor is to cause the Israelites to make a covenant with the heathen. I hope you understand that. The number one job of a Black Christian pastor is to get more followers and to grow his church more so that they can make a covenant with the heathen. You got to understand that. You got to understand that a wicked tree cannot produce good fruit. Okay? You understand that? A good tree cannot produce wicked fruit. The Black Christian church was born out of white evangelical plantation slave owners. Case closed. And the descendants of those slave owners are still worshiping the same white Jesus and the same doctrine to this very day. So you can understand. 13th verse. And certain of the people were so forward herein. Wait a minute. Let me see. I'll read 11 again. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. So this is the same thing as when you get a Diddy and a R. Kelly who go to Clive Davis, and they go to these record label owners and these Jay-Z's and Lee R. Cohens and these Dr. Dre's and these Jimmy Iovine's and these, you understand, when they go and they make a covenant with the heathen. And what do? They become label owners. What do they become label owners for? To bring in other black men to make them quote unquote stars, right? What's the definition of a star? A gaseous celestial body. Celestial luminous body. Luminous means you create your own light. You don't get your light from the glory of the Lord. Okay? You get your light and your image from the beast, man. You understand that? That's why I say all the time, hip hop is white supremacy. Let me say it again. Hip hop is white supremacy. Why? Because the black Christian pastor is losing the ability to alter the mind and to deceive the mind of the young people. Do you understand that? The same way, the same things that Quincy Jones was known for doing, the same thing that Sidney Poitier was known for doing, okay? All them black people that was around your elementary school classroom during Black History Month, all of them was buck dancers. All of them kissed white behind. I know they never covered Nat Turner in your public school classroom. They never covered Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, huh? They never took. Did they ever tell you? Did they ever tell you about old Whip Peter? Huh? Did they ever tell you about Whip Pete? Huh? You know, did you ever tell you about him? He wasn't willing to be the first down low brother. He never bowed to the beast. Does everybody understand that? And in the movie, Will Smith played him. The movie is called Emancipation. And this man named Whip Peter. Now, the significance of that, when you look at his back look like a rock, don't it? You see the striations in his back? He looked like a rock. Well, ironically enough, Christ told Peter, he said, on this rock I will build my church. And when the year that Will Smith was to receive his Oscar for playing the role of Venus and Serena's father, okay, which they honored him by marrying white men. But anyway, all right. And so as a result of him him receiving his Oscar for that role, many did not know that a few months later is when Apple Movies would release this movie, Emancipation, about Whip Peter. And some of you all may remember that Oscar because it was the Oscar where he slapped Chris Rock. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that for just 1 second, man. Understand, there was Israelites that would not bow. They'd rather die. And I'm about to read a few of them. There were buck dancing black men who agreed to complete a satanic ritual called buck breaking, so that they could be in the house. Because what you have to understand, it wasn't until 1775 that a black man could even be a Christian pastor. That first black Christian pastor was a former house slave by the name of George Liele. Liele. I just, it's just some things that just, you'll never hear it. And see, for you to, you can't understand that the highest level a black man could hold was black Christian pastor in 1775. Before that, the highest position a black man could hold was house slave. In order to be a house slave, what did you have to agree to? You had to agree to perform a satanic ritual called buck breaking, okay, where you were often LGBT, okay, and also you were castrated, because for any sacrifice, any satanic sacrifice has to include blood. And there was a castration that had to take place. Now, unbeknownst to the unlearned Israelite male who really just wanted position so that he could be above and the highest ranking position amongst the slaves on the plantation, because he had no authority once he left that plantation. Same way as you politicians and you rappers and you celebrity stars and you corporate executives and all of that. You can only stunt on your own people, man. You are nothing amongst them people. And the Trumpstein Files should have proved that to you, because you weren't even allowed to be a part of their madness like that. That's the only thing that kept you away from it. Okay. All right. So now. All right. Made themselves uncircumcised and made themselves. These are the things that you should be paying attention to, so that you don't make yourself uncircumcised. You understand? Okay. 15th verse. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant. So when you say you don't have to keep the laws, or we ain't have to have no, you Creflo, you jack legs like Creflo Dollar coming on. Christians don't have to have no kind of relationship with the law, not even the 10 Commandments. I just messed your theology up. You making a joke of it. We're going to see how funny it is when that fire come, though. And I know you from Kathleen Mitchell Elementary School cafeteria when you first start lying. Okay? So I got a red dot on your head. I'm coming. Know that. Okay? And anybody can get it. Anybody with you can get it. Anybody. Okay? Just so we clear. I'm from 2625 Charlestown Drive, apartment 16A. So you understand. The truth is coming. 15th verse. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief. If you want to grab the book, this is a shameless plug at shopwildgoods.com. Full series. So to do mischief, forsaking the holy covenant, how the heathen destroyed the Israelites. Your own people sold you out. They always have. Just so that they can run around and floss and stunt. And they can live lovely and lush, while they collect all your money so they can send it back to their white daddy. Every last one, 100% of the black Christian pastors go to white and Jewish evangelical theology schools, seminary schools, only to return to pastor all black churches in the damn hood. Don't none of you swine eaters pastor all white churches. None of you. And the truth is coming. It is coming. It is coming. It is coming. It is coming. All right. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have dominion over two realms. What two realms? The southern kingdom of Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, and Egypt. Okay, that's two realms. All right, so I'm gonna skip over this. I'm gonna go down to verse 21. And he entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlesticks of light and all the vessels thereof, and the tables of the showbread and the pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil and the crown and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. Look. Okay. You remember I told you about the frieze of Titus? You see what they got on their shoulder? You see who the Edomites are? Okay, wait a minute. Maybe you got a hard time seeing that. Maybe let's see. Let's see if we can pull the image up. Okay. And keep in mind, they don't want you to be like with Peter. You understand? That's why they took him out of the Smithsonian Museum under the request of Donald Trump. They took him out. Okay? Now you understand why. Because why? He never bowed to Edom. He never bowed to the image of the beast. You about to see. I ain't through. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. Can you all see that? I know it's kind of small on the screen, but can you see it? Let me see. It might be bigger there. Anyway.
We can see it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
okay. Here it is. This is one of the best ones right here. All right. As you can see, these are the items that they took out of the temple, man. You see that menorah, 7-branch menorah, right? That's the candlesticks. It says, let's see. And he took away the table of the showbread, the pouring vessels, the vials, the censers of gold, 21st verse, and they entered proudly into the sanctuary, and they took away the golden altar and the candlesticks of light and all the vessels thereof. That's what this is, man. But get what? You too Christianized. You love white Jesus too much to look into these things. You see that? See? So you look at the vessels, the pouring vessels, the table for the showbread, the candlesticks of light. No, that look like more like a table right there. I don't know. But do you understand? And do you see who is it any marvel who the Edomites are? And I understand that this happened in 70 AD. But it's just like what happened years before that. 147 years after, understand, listen, let me give you the timeline. So Alexander the Great, he died in 323 BC. Okay, so that's before Christ, right? Antiochus ruled 147 years after after the first time, after Alexander began to rule in Greece, right? After the first Edomite began to rule in Greece, understand? Okay, that's 147 years. Now, 323, BC or before Christ. Before Christ, it goes down. So the next year would be 322. All right. Now, you may know that 322 marks the Lumian War or Hellenic War. Okay. All right. Where you can see is right. I mean, it's all Googleable. Okay. The Lumian War. Okay. Let's see what it say. Okay. The Lumian or the Hellenic War was an unsuccessful attempt by Athens and a large coalition of Greek states to end the hegemony of Macedonians over Greece, just after the death of Alexander the Great. Isn't that what I just said? So what is it? But this is just further to the fact that of how dumb and stupid you look running around barking and squealing like rats. Okay, talking about you some damn Greek. They aren't even the original Greeks. Do you see that this? I want to read it again, and I'm gonna read it slowly, so you can understand. The Lumian or the Hellenic War from 323 to 322 was an unsuccessful attempt by Athens. Please understand that the Lumian War was fought in the last stronghold of the Greeks, the son of Noah's son, Japheth, Javan, and Kittim. They were the original ancient Greeks. Okay? They were the original people that was in the land. Athens, Central Athens, Greece, was the last to fall. Okay? That's why they say it was an unsuccessful attempt to keep the Macedonians under Alexander from conquering that last kingdom. Please keep in mind, Alexander the Great died in 323 BC, right? He died of syphilis. Okay, that should give you should recall how for 40 years in America, they ran the Tuskegee experiment. Okay, weren't they trying to find a cure for syphilis? Why did they need a cure for syphilis? For all of the Europeans that they were bringing over on the Homestead Act and giving them land and giving them farming equipment and opening up land grant colleges for them. Martin Luther King War. Okay? The Greek states to return all the people they had forced into exile. This decree meant that Athens had to surrender the island of Samos, colonized by the Athenian clerics since 365 BC, while Anatolian League had to leave. Anyway, I'm going to stop it there, but I want to go back and study that because that's giving you even further history of when Japheth was ruling in that land and when he was spreading Hellenism. They did not create Hellenism, man. They can't clap on beat. They created nothing in the earth. They only took the identity of other nations, period. They from the mountains, okay? All right, so now, let's go on, okay? And so I just want to show you, these are things that's right in your face. It show you who Edom is. It said the kingdom that was and not and was not and now is. It's talking about the fourth and final beast that started with the Greeks. That's why they can't get no understanding of Daniel the 7th chapter, because they think it's the original Greeks. That's why they call them the Edomites, or the people that's in control of the land today. And they said that a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Okay? That's Edomites. All right? They right there, right here. Okay? They also, I mean, you see it. I mean, what you gonna do? You can't run. The truth tell you what's going on. I mean, what? Don't get mad, get a precept. Okay? So we got the White House and all the southern plantations. Okay? White House and all the southern plantations looking just like Edom. Okay? Now, you don't. Hey, it is what it is. Eagle. Okay? And don't think Germany and Great Britain and Spain, don't think they have eagles too. Okay? Just so you understand. Okay? Understand that the Third Reich, they was red. Okay? All right. And we about to find out. We about to find out what's going on. Just a minute, okay? 21st verse. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoke very proudly. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were. So that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation, so that he sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. And the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof. And all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the city of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem and was with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them. But all was deceit. So that you understand, you black Christians that follow behind that follow behind the Trumpstein Files, or follow behind those that's in the Trumpstein Files. Do you understand what a dumb idiot you look like? But guess what? That is what the Most High wants you to be. So that you will be joined unto the wicked when that fire comes, man. That's what you don't understand. You think the truth is just waiting around for you to believe it? You got to be kidding me. And after 2 years had fully expired, the king sent a chief collector of tribute unto the city of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city, and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. And when he had taken spoils of the city, he set it on fire, and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. But the women and the children took they captive, and possessed the cattle. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with great mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armors and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them up there. And so they became a sore snare. And it was a place to lie in wait against the sanctuary, an evil adversary to Israel, that they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary, and defiled it. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made a habitation of strangers, and became strange to those that were born in her. And her own children left her, meaning that those southern kingdom Israelites of Benjamin, Judah, and Levi, they left Jerusalem. They left the southern kingdom, and they went into Corinth and Cappadocia and Antioch and Pontus and Thessalonica. And they joined themselves unto the gods of the heathen nation. Those were all Roman provinces. Those all were provinces that were controlled by Rome. Don't you understand that? At this time, they were controlled by the convert Greek Macedonians, Edomites. They controlled Jerusalem. So they're learning, they're putting in place the blueprint of how to control the Israelites. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon The city was made a habitation of strangers and became strange to those that were born in her. And her own children left her, and her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbath into reproach, her honor into contempt, meaning that Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is a reproach. It is false. It is not real. The Israelites did not keep the Sabbath based upon a solar calendar. They kept the Sabbath based upon a solar lunar calendar. Sit down. You don't know what you're teaching. '40th verse. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor increased, and her excellency was turned into mourning. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people. This is his religion. Pay attention. The first pillar of his religion is all should be one people. What is the Christian moniker? Evangelical Christians teach all the time, all shall be one people, man. That is what Christianity is. While they're still hanging you from trees. You're ridiculous. America is known as the what? The great melting pot. The most hypocrite, the only nation on earth that has far surpassed Satan in evil and wickedness. You can't go no further. 41st verse. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people and everyone should leave his laws. Is not that what the Christian church teaches? That you don't have to keep the commandments? That you should leave the laws? So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his what? Religion. And sacrifice unto idols. What do you think you're doing when you tell your children lies? And you bite the damn chocolate chip cookies and put it on a plate in front of the damn fireplace and give the credit to a white man coming down your damn chimney and bringing gifts. And he got the murder weapon of Christ right on his damn chest in the color of Edom. Scarlet. How dumb and stupid can you be? And I'm the damn problem. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idol. That's the same thing that you're doing when you got that swine on your table with that apple in his mouth doing Thanksgiving. I mean, you ridiculous. And you got the audacity to get an attitude when somebody try to tell you the damn Israelites and you got to keep the commandment. Hell, you leading in damn heart disease. Stop eating the damn pork, dummy. Stop eating shrimp, crab, and lobster, damn dummy. You dying. Damn. 41st verse. 44. For the king had sent letters by messenger unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbath and the festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation, to the end that they might forget the law. This is the whole purpose of Christianity, to the end that they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever that would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, everyone who forsook the law, and so they committed evils in the land. Black Christian church, 100 years of evil. That's what you've been doing. Black community cannot sustain another 50 years of black Christian leadership. Black Christians love white people too damn much to lead. Now, damn it, I said it. Now, the 15th day of the month of Caslu, in the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and built idol altars throughout the city of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the door of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, and if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should be put him to death. Thus did they, by their authority, unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the city. Now the 5th and 20th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the altar, which was upon the altar of God. And at that time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised. Now, wait a minute. What's the irony of the 25th of the month? You say you do it for the kids. Well, guess what? They do it to commemorate and to memorialize the unaliving of your forefathers. And you steady kissing white people behind. Steady. 61st verse. And they hang the infants about their neck, and raffled their houses, and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. And you just understand how destroyed you are. You searching the scriptures so you can eat a pork chop sandwich. You searching the scriptures so you can eat shrimp, crab, and lobster. Do you understand what's coming? No, you don't understand. That's why I call Christianity hospice. Okay? That's the purpose of hospice. Okay? Howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. Wherefore they rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died. And there was very great wrath in Israel, man. So we're gonna stop it right there. Y'all can come off your mutes. Anybody got anything? Anybody learn anything?